Sam O'Reilly, Fight Talk. Myself and Craig Scott, Fight Talk's finest, are here to discuss what we've just seen. Haye Bellew. I mean, no one could have predicted what happened, I don't think, Craig.
I've never seen a fight as unusual as that in my life. I've never seen a fight where there was such an obvious injury. And someone's just fought on and demonstrated. You know, he was holding onto the ropes at one point, David Haye, holding onto the ropes because he couldn't stand up properly, and it was just a weird scenario.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. Let's start at the beginning, I guess. The first round. Now, David Haye was jumping in and lunging, and he was wild as fuck. And I'm sitting there screaming at the telly, "What the fuck are you doing, man? Box and move!" And he was jumping like a wild man. I've never seen him do that before. Now, listen, in hindsight, you could say, "Oh, because he knew the injury, he was trying to get him out of there early." But he didn't look good for the first couple of rounds. You know, he kind of switched it on a little bit better in the second and third. But he didn't look himself, man.
Yeah, I thought he looked. What I said when I was sitting watching it was he looked slower than normal. I thought when he was throwing those big shots, you know, a lot of guys come in and throw the big shots. When he was throwing the shots, it was very telegraphed. It was coming from the hip. It wasn't coming off the back of a jab. It wasn't coming from the shoulder, you know, from a high guard. It was coming all the way down from the hip. When you throw a shot like that, the guy's got so much time, especially a smaller, faster guy. He's got all that time from you to bring that shot up from the hip to then react to the shot, and that's what I thought was happening. Bellew was reading that all day long.
Yeah, it was a sad thing when Tony Bellew was counter-punching him with just a little check right hook here and there, and he kind of corrected it a little bit. I thought he won rounds. I think it was 2-4, but not convincingly. Like he would never looked like hurting Bellew massively. There was a couple of times he landed a few in a row, but you have to say fair play to Bellew for taking the shots he took, and then it all just fucking got mental.
It was just so weird. I didn't know if he had. It looked like he suddenly developed an illness or something, and he couldn't walk properly. It was really unusual. And when you watch the replay, you can see he takes this weird step, and then he looks down. And no punches were thrown that could have caused that sort of damage to your nervous system. And you see he looks down at his leg, and straight away, you know, he knows, and he starts doing that Bambi walk, and he's trying to get to, doesn't really know what's going on, and he's trying to adapt, and I think Bellew thought he was hurt. I think Bellew thought he caught him and he hurt him, and then probably as the fight progressed into the late middle rounds, your 8s and your 9s, I think it became pretty obvious that he was almost a lamb to a slaughter, although he was throwing some big shots back.
Yeah, man. I mean, do you know what? My immediate reflex was knee. I thought his knee was gone. I've done my knee myself, my cruciate ligament, and I was convinced that's what it was. I completely forgot about all the fucking Achilles rumours and stuff like that. It turns out they weren't rumours, and you know what? David Haye, listen, I'm sure the truth's going to come out, but you have a big injury, you should be pulling out. And we know why he didn't pull out, if that is the case, because of all the past, the things that were said and stuff like that. He could never have lived it down if he had have pulled out. So that may have had a massive impact on the reason that he went through the fight and tried to get Bellew out there as quick as he did, because he knew he would probably break down mid to late rounds. It's exactly what happened, and it was horrible to watch. As you know, I've made no secret about what a David Haye fan I am. And it was horrible to watch, man. I'm sitting there like this. Not only did the fight start, I'm going, this ain't the same David Haye. He's not as quick. Everything that he's known for wasn't on display. And then he's gradually breaking down. And then to see the look in his face walking back to the corner, I felt like he was my child. I just wanted to hold him.
Yeah.
It was horrible to watch, man. And It was annoying me, the coverage and stuff. They weren't making as big a deal out of it. I mean, Froch was saying, he's a sitting duck and stuff, and Malignaggi was saying how tough he was, but they kind of breezed over it and made out that Bellew was beating a prime David Haye, and that was pissing me off.
I don't know. I mean, I think Froch was pretty fair. He kept saying he couldn't walk and he could barely walk and it looked like an injury. I thought they were all right, to be fair. I thought the post fight was really weird. I know we touched on it briefly before we started this, and it seemed that we were kind of just sitting waiting for either Haye to admit it and say, listen, this is what happened during the fight, my leg fell off, or we were waiting for the interviewer to say, listen, this is the elephant in the room, what the fuck is up with your knee because it's turned around the wrong way, or what's up with your leg because your ankle's hanging off, and it not like nothing. And they're going, David, what happened? And he's going, the better man won. And I mean, just watching him do that, it was blatantly obvious to me that's why he's not got a career in Hollywood. It was just fucking shit acting. He just wanted to say, I'm so injured. This happened to me, and he just didn't say it.
Yeah. I had 5 rounds walking around with my knee facing backwards, you cunt. I mean, what chance have I fucking got with my Achilles? I mean, you know what? When you have dislocated shoulder, we've seen it in the past that people have gone on to win. Isaac Chamberlain, Audley Harrison. It's been done. You have you're a boxer with 2 arms, obviously, but you can still generate the power from your legs. What do you do when you physically have 1 leg? Do you know what I mean? You can't generate power. You can't move. He could barely keep himself up at times. He was a lamb to the slaughter. He had 15 minutes, 5 rounds where he was just taking damage and just hoping for a honey punch that never came.
It got kind of interesting in the 9th. I put a small sum of money on Bellew between the 10th and the 12th to stop David Haye, and I put £2 on, right, because I'm fucking nuts. I put a massive £2 on. I was going to get £102 back, and I seen the injury where I was like, fuck, I'm in the money, let's do it, man. And it got to 8 rounds, and I thought, if we get into the 10th round here, I'm quids in. But then the 8th came, the 9th came, the 10th came, and Bellew just looked as though he might fall over and collapse from exhaustion himself. So I cashed it out for 40 quid.
Oh, you didn't.
I did. I cashed it out at the end of the 10th. I went, do you know what? It's a £2 bet. I'll take 40 quid. We'll live to fight another day. And then my bud she turned around and went, you've messed that up there. He's going to stop him in this round. I'm halfway through saying, what do you know? And fucking David Haye's rolling about the press row.
It wasn't even a big shot. It was just a culmination of little things.
Yeah.
It was horrible to watch, man. It's just,
there was no base.
I mean, and you know what? Yeah, you've said it. The post-fight interview. Now, I just tweeted it. If David, not only is it the elephant in the room, but he is so conscious because he did the little toe against Klitschko, and the worst thing he ever did was bring out the little toe. So he didn't want to mention his Achilles or his knee, whatever. We assume it's his Achilles because it looked real. It looked like it was lower. You could see he was flat-footed. But he didn't want to mention it. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'd like to think people would have not needed to be told, but he should have mentioned it. But then you got the fans there, man.
Well, the thing for me is, mate. Sorry to interrupt. The guy who's doing the interview should mention it.
Yeah.
It's very obvious to me and you and everybody watching. He's injured. He's fucked. So why is the guy doing the interview not going, David? Obviously, we could see you suffered an injury.
Do you want to know why? I think it's quite obvious.
Do you want it?
Sky.
Yeah.
Fucking Sky, mate. They're so... Listen, Bellew's is a Sky fighter and they wanted him to win. It was a big, risky fight. I mean, you see Eddie Hearn in the ring afterwards crying with Bellew. Their man's just won. Excellent. Well done. Bellew won. For the first time in my life, I looked at Bellew when he didn't celebrate immediately and I thought, you know what, massive respect. Because he knew. Fuck me, he knew.
Yeah.
If I know and I'm sitting 20 miles away, you know what I mean? He's in the ring with a man. He knew his leg was fucking hanging off. But
I just think it's common courtesy for the guy just to touch on it and go, David, clearly we can see you're injured.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that or should we boot? Do you know what I mean? Just give him the option.
Yeah.
And I think he would probably have went, yeah, things went wrong, but things go wrong for everybody. Let's move on.
Yeah.
But you still need to address it. You still need to touch on it for me.
Yeah. 2 things. Why I don't understand why Haye wants a rematch. Imagine, first of all, the surgery. Imagine he gets his surgery Monday morning, yeah?
Yeah.
Recovery time on a ruptured Achilles is at
9
best.
months?
Yeah. He'll be 37 and he looked past it in the first couple of rounds tonight. There is no rematch happening. The rematch doesn't happen. And just before I phoned you, I saw Bellew call out the name Deontay Wilder. I mean, he could probably beat Wilder. I'm not a massive fan of Wilder, but it's irrelevant. horrible to see David Haye go out that way. I don't think he should fight again. And I thought it was a disgrace, the people booing him in the post-fight. When him and Bellew have embraced, and David Haye over-enthusiastically saying he was beaten by the better man, and the fuckers were booing him in his own town. I thought that was wrong. Wrong. I mean, what do you think?
Well, the argument that I've had with a lot of people about Haye in the build-up to this fight is, whatever happens, whether he wins emphatically in the first round, whether he gets beat in the 11th because his Achilles is gone, he's dug his own grave, man. He's laid his own bed. Some of the stuff he was saying to Bellew I thought was a bit much. But I get that's part and parcel of David Haye. But when something like this happens, when you're an enormous favourite and you get stopped in your hometown or whatever, all the bad stuff, all the booing, all the negative energy that's getting passed on to you, you've invited that all in. It's kind of like O'Hara Davis, right? Yeah. So if O'Hara Davis tonight goes out and gets stopped by Derry Matthews late in the round and gets battered for 10 rounds, he's not got a leg to, excuse the phrase, he's not got a leg to stand on.
You can't say that. That's not fair.
For me, if you're telling a guy who's a massive family man and all he cares about is his wife and his kids, he has got kids, by the way, I don't know if he's mentioned it before, but if you're going to tell Bellew you're going to put him in a stretcher and he's going to get taken to the hospital and all that stuff, do you know what? If he stops you or if you get injured and you get beat, you just need to take that in the chin. For me, it's part and parcel of the trash talk.
Yeah. I think he was... Well, there's two things from this performance of David Haye. No one can ever say the man's a quitter and he just he can't take it, because he could have easily gone 6th round when that knee went or Achilles went. Could have easily just not come back out for the 7th round, and he carried on and tried on one leg. So it can never be used against him that he's not a warrior, no doubt.
Yeah, the best thing that's happened from this fight is that no one will mention the toe again. I don't think, people will look at this instead and say, well, they obviously won't mention it, but anybody who mentions it will just get countered with, well, what about the time that happened? Yeah. And before we didn't really have a reason to defend him for that.
Yeah. What about the time he fought with one fucking leg? Mate, it's horrible. It's really horrible.
It was a very, very weird to watch, wasn't it?
It was, and I think that fight rescued what was a very, very poor pay-per-view.
Very poor.
O'Hara Davis, I thought, looked very good. Disposed of Derry in, was it the 3rd round, 4th round?
3rd.
Looked good, man. Looked good. I mean, we know Derry's passed it, and Derry's had more fights, more 12-round fights than O'Hara's had fights in his career, and he's been through wars. And he looked like a man ready to retire, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's. Everybody says, what a great career, and he's achieved. It doesn't for Derry. He's always put on a great fight, and sometimes being known as a guy that puts on a great fight every single time sometimes can mean you're taking a bit of beating every single time as well.
Yeah.
You're getting some results, but you're in a lot of wars, and it's like some of these guys, like Conor McGregor, is very famous for saying he doesn't want to win fight of the night bonus, because that means you're in a back and forth for 5 rounds, and that's not really what he wants. He wants to be decisively winning fights. Yeah. So Derry's just he's just had too many wars, I think.
Yeah, right time for him to retire now. You could see how emotional he was when they were announcing it. He sat there, but he seems like a genuinely nice fella.
Yeah.
So his time. Katie Taylor, Dave Allen, both got wins. Dave was a bit wild at times.
Yeah, I don't think Dave was overly impressive tonight. I think 2 fights in a week is massive anyway. It's amazing that he's managed to do that, and he's got another knockout victory. What amazed me more than his win or his slow start was how quickly Dave Howe just crumbled.
Yeah.
Because he won the first round, right? He clearly won the first round. He was working nicely behind the jab, and then he just fucking crumbled, man.
I reckon Dave Allen hits harder than people know. Do you know what I mean? Once he got his head down and actually started doing a little bit behind the jab, I think he even said that himself.
Yeah.
Although there was so long between fights, it got a bit frustrating at times. Melanargi talked him for a good half hour after his fight with Eggington, and I love Pauli Melanargi, but mate, I wanted to see more fights. I think that card should have had 2 more good.
Why are they fucking bringing George Groves into the ring?
Mate,
Why are they bringing George Groves into the ring when he's not
Luke
even a
Campbell.
fucking matchroom fighter?
You're right, he's a fucking Sauerland guy. Well, he knows
He's a Sauerland fight with no date set for a fight.
Yeah, Luke Campbell. You fought last week. So?
Oh, very weird.
Very weird night. A depressing night for me.
A good night for me. Are you gonna tell everyone what's going to happen, or do you want me to tell them?
You can tell him, mate.
So myself and Sam put a bet on. Also, before we talk about the bet, we've done 2 prediction things, right? And on both prediction things that we've done, not me and you, Fight Talk generally. First one was Santa Cruz, Frampton. Second one, Bellew, Haye. First one, on a panel of 3, I was the only one that picked Santa Cruz.
What do you want? You want a fucking medal or what? Like, Jesus Christ.
Second time, I'm the only one that picks Bellew. Nobody else picks Bellew. And that leads me on to the bet. So Sam is going to have to buy me dinner, not as romantically as it sounds, but it might be tinged with some friendship. Where are we going?
You're Scottish. We've decided Greg's and Iron Brew is the way forward.
Greg's and Iron Brew, man. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm going to go and cry into, I don't know, what's a depressant? Gin. I might go and have some gin. I need to cry in a corner somewhere. I've got my David Haye signed glove beside me. Just breaking my heart looking around and seeing the great man crumble like that. It's devastating. Fair play to Tony Bellew. He won the fight. He got the W. Even though everyone sort of pretended it was not due to a man having one leg, he'll take it. He got the victory. And he is going to get home safely to his kids.
He's totally turned his whole public persona upside down, isn't he?
Bizarre.
Bellew, remember when he called Cleverly you're fucking rat?
He's a fucking rat, yeah.
On TV?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, good night for Bellew. Very, very, very unusual fight. Below average pay-per-view. And I'm looking forward to a couple of sausage rolls and Scotland's finest drink, the Orange Export Iron Brew.
You enjoy it, mate. This has been Fight Talk. That was Haye Bellew. I'm going to go and cry. Craig's going to go and plan what we're eating for our meal.